Hey guys, what's going on? This is Manga by Volume, and today we're going to be doing my comic book haul for the end of August, early September, very early September. All these books I ordered towards the end of August, and finally got the last one in, so we just wanted to do this video and show you guys what I got. Now, I know that I said in my last comic book haul that I wouldn't be getting any more for the rest of August, but I was finally able to sell a couple of things that I've been hanging on to for a while, including, for those curious, a Rick and Morty #1 Books A Million variant, and some limited run games that I've had for quite a bit. But I've been kind of getting out of the limited run game stuff. But yeah, so that funded pretty much all of this haul. Now, first things first, I have some used books and single issues that I got from Second and Charles. So let's dive into those first. First things first, we got Unbeatable Squirrel Girl #20. I have not read Squirrel Girl, but as you can see, this has some really awesome pixel art on it. And if anyone's ever played the game Q*bert, it's very similar to that. Sort of a reference there. But yeah, I hear amazing things about Squirrel Girl. I do want to get the hardcovers when I can. I got a few things that are higher priority right now, but I do definitely want to read Squirrel Girl sometime in the future. Next up is an all-time classic that is Alan Moore's The Killing Joke. Now, this is the original printing. I got it for $5 at Second and Charles, and I'll probably end up hanging this up. I did read it before in the deluxe format from my library, and I do want to get that as well. But I thought this would be kind of a cool thing to hang up. And for those who don't know, the new deluxe printing of Killing Joke actually has a new coloring, which has turned a few people off. I thought it was okay, but that was my first time reading it. So it's kind of cool. This is the original printing with much brighter colors. Very cool, very cool. Happy to have that. And finally, for single issues, like I said, I don't get a lot of single issues, but when I see something that's the cover's just awesome, I just got to pick it up. And while I haven't read the Prelude stuff yet, I was really happy to see this Cliff Chiang variant for Metal, or Dark Knight's Metal #1, with beautiful artwork. Fucking Wonder Woman riding a pterodactyl. So I had to get this. I just looked amazing. For those who don't know, Cliff Chiang was the artist during Brian Azzarello's New 52 run on Wonder Woman, which I also need to read. But for now, this is pretty cool to have. Alright, so that does it for single issues. Now moving on, we have just two hardcovers from Second and Charles. Got both of these used for around $10 each. Starting off, we got Scott Pilgrim Color Edition #1, or Volume 1. I love Scott Pilgrim. I used to have the black and white editions, but I sold them all off in favor of getting these nice color editions. So I finally have #1. Super happy about it. I think color just adds. Ooh, that's lewd. Color adds a lot of detail and stuff to Scott Pilgrim, and Scott Pilgrim is one of my favorite series of all time. So really happy to get started on that. Probably pick up the next 5 sometime in the future. All right, next up we got Infinite Crisis. This is the standard hardcover. Found it for $9. Now, Infinite Crisis is another event by Jeff Johns, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. I haven't read it yet, and when I saw the standard hardcover for just $9, I knew this was the way to get it, because that's actually cheaper than it would have been to buy the paperback on in-stock trades. But I hear a lot of good things about this event. It's got some pretty sweet artwork. So yeah, happy to have that. Can't wait to read it. Alright, moving on to my in-stock trades haul. One sec. Alright, so the books that I got from in-stock trades, there's 2 books, and they're both fucking enormous. But we're going to start out with the smaller one, and that is the Gotham Central Omnibus. This is co-written by Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka, as you can see there, with some awesome art by Michael Lark, who does a lot of, I think he did, I think it was Velvet and Ed Brubaker's Daredevil run. So they work together really, really well, and just flipping through it, it's got some really nice crime noir type artwork there. And this thing is enormous. Oh my god. It's like, I think it's just under 1,000 pages, this thing. So I can't wait to read it. I hear so many good things about it. But yeah, that's Gotham Central Omnibus. As you can see, I'm getting pretty heavy into DC recently. And what better way to commemorate that than with a book it's getting a lot more attention recently with recent events such as Rebirth and The Button and the upcoming Doomsday Clock. And that is, of course, Alan Moore's Watchmen. And this is the absolute Watchmen. This is a book I was debating whether to get this or with the deluxe edition, but I figured, you know, a story such as Watchmen, which I've read countless times, I wanted to get it in the best format possible for my next reread. And man, this thing is just insane. I love this. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of chipping on the bottom of the slipcase, but it doesn't affect the book itself, so I'm okay with it. This thing is nice and thick. As with all DC Absolutes, this is my second Absolute now. And yeah, this book is just awesome. If you haven't read Watchmen and you're new to comic books, I definitely recommend giving it a shot, because Watchmen is one of the best comics of all time. Take that slipcase or dust jacket off, and as you can see, it's pretty plain. Nice with the clock there on both sides, and the binding, I was actually a little bit disappointed because my Absolute Authority by Warren Ellis, the binding is completely sewn and it opens perfectly fine. But this one I think is actually kind of glued because it's one of their older Absolute editions, and it doesn't lay quite as flat. There is a little bit of gutter loss. Thankfully, with Watchmen and the 9-panel grid, it has plenty of white space to kind of make up for that gutter loss, so you can still pretty much see all of the art. But man, just seeing Gibbons' art blown up like this, it's just awesome. And I can't wait to reread this in this format. But yeah, that does it for my in-stock trades haul. And then next up we have some pretty awesome books that I got for a really good deal on the Omnibus Omnibros Facebook group, which I highly recommend joining if you're a fan of Omnibus or premium formats for comic books. But yeah, let's dive into those. All right, guys. So this next set of books comes from one of the Omnibros on the Omnibus Collectors Facebook group. I got these all for an insane deal, and man, I'm so glad to have some of these. So first off, we have Brian K. Vaughan's Saga. It's the deluxe hardcover, book 1. I used to have this, but it had I got it from Barnes & Noble, and it had like a pretty nasty scratch there. And I ended up selling it off when I was selling a few books a while back. But I'm finally getting back into premium format books, and I'm happy to have this back. The only problem is that the binding is coming off a bit. So I have ordered some binding glue, and I'm going to be fixing this book as soon as humanly possible, because I am worried about that binding coming off. And next up is actually Saga Book 2. This is a pretty recent release, and I got both of these for a pretty great deal. I think I saved about $20 compared to in-stock trades. This one, the binding is perfectly fine. The only thing is, and this is a problem with the printing itself, not any damage or anything, is that it's got it's pretty tough glued binding. It's sewn and glued, so like the binding, it's good, but you still get that kind of gutter loss a bit. Yeah, super happy to have Saga. It is one of my favorite series. I've read most of this, books 1 and 2 digitally, but I'm super happy to have it on my shelf now. And next up is a book, or a series, that it's pretty freaking awesome, pretty great. And these are 3 books that complete the entire series of Lock and Key by Joe Hill. Now, Lock and Key is a horror series from it's written by Stephen King's son, and man, he really lives up to that name, because I have read some of this before, and Lock and Key is creepy as hell. It's about this house, and this house has a bunch of keys that basically, when you open a door with the key, it has different properties. So like there's a door that you walk through it with or there's a key that you put in a door, walk through, and you die. You become a ghost. And then when you go back in through the door, you can finally go back into your body. And there's a bunch of different things like that. And it's very, very dark, pretty violent, not for the faint of our heart, especially the first couple of chapters. It really goes into the deep end fast. But it's set in Lovecraft, Massachusetts. And yeah, it's a really, really good series with some pretty good art. The art's not gonna be for everyone. The way that let's see, who draws it? Gabriel Rodriguez draws his faces, might throw a few people off, but I think it works well. So this is the Master Edition, by the way. So they're premium hardcovers, and they collect 2 of the regular volumes. So that's volumes 1 and 2 contained in Master Edition number 1. We have Master Edition number 2 here, containing 3 and 4. And finally, to close off the series, we have Master Edition number 3, containing volumes 5 and 6. This closes off the main Lock and Key series, but there are a couple of side stories that they've released since then, but that's all of them together. It looks really, really awesome on the shelf, and these are really well put together books. I haven't had any issues with these yet. All right, next up, last series for the haul. We have What Happens If Superman Goes Bad. And I'm talking, of course, about Irredeemable. This is the Premier Edition, Volume 1, written by Mark Waid, with art by, I think it's Peter Krause. But this is basically a series about a Superman-like hero getting fed up with the world and basically going on a murderous rampage. And it is fucking great, actually. I've read a few volumes of this on Comixology for I think it has like volume 1 and 2 on Comixology Unlimited. I read them a while back, but yeah, Irredeemable. The series has pretty great art, actually, throughout, and this premium format is pretty awesome. So that's volume 1. We have volume 2 here, and similar to my first volume of Saga, Irredeemable volume 1, the binding is not on this side, but on this side you can see the binding is kind of coming undone. It's pretty unfortunate, but it should be an easy fix. Hopefully I actually have some binding glue coming in the mail from Amazon. I might do a video on that process, because I haven't done it before, so hopefully it goes well. But here's volume 3. And yeah, let me just show you them from the side here. And Volume 4 is already out, so I still need to pick that up. But and then Volume 5, which comes out, I believe, in March of next year, that completes the series. So I'll probably wait until that 5th volume comes out to do a complete read and review and stuff. Although it's a pretty popular series, it doesn't really need a review. But yeah, that does it for the haul. Like I said, I got these for a pretty awesome price. And if you join the Omnibus Collectors Facebook group, there's deals like this all the time. So yeah, definitely check them out. And hope you guys enjoyed the haul. This is Manga by Volume. And thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.